Okay, hi. So SWS, the Flat World Series just like happened yesterday morning, and if you didn't see, pretty much like the idea was to have like eight Japanese teams and eight like Western teams play, and what ended up happening was the Japanese got top eight and all the Western teams got bottom eight. It was a 16-man tournament, and all the Western teams were the bottom eight spots. Japan obviously won, and yeah, I just kind of wanted to talk about it because it's a pretty big tournament overall. There's already a lot of discussion on it, I think, on Twitter and Blue Sky, but like I don't ever check those because like I care about my mental health and like overall, I think just posting on social media is just like kind of unhealthy for you. Uh, but anyway, I mostly just saw Jared's video on this and like what he was saying on it, and just that's kind of how I got exposed to all of it and stuff. Uh, and like I don't know, it just kind of pissed me off just seeing all the discussion about it, just from both sides. Just like the more casual spectator side and like even the top player side, I wasn't really a fan of. But like even then, for the most part, like the event was good for the scene. Like I cannot like describe just how good the production was overall. Just like the graphics, they had like stat tracking and whatever. The commentary was phenomenal. Like everyone dressed up and whatever. Like even like just watching it was a lot more enjoyable than most of the weeklies I watch, to be honest, and like other things. It's just the quality was very high, and like it's kind of exceptional for like what the community puts together usually, and like stuff like that. Like for the most part, I think it's just also great that like the Western spectators and the audience and like even players like me who doesn't really watch Japan or like the Japanese tournaments just see what like how they play and how much more different it is from what I'm used to seeing in the West. And yeah, I think overall, just like even this score, like just these results, and like this is going to motivate just the West to play better overall. And I think yeah, it's going to be good. Um, but before I start getting angry and I start criticizing stuff, I feel like I agree with Akira here that like mostly just if you are not like me who has been in this scene for like 10 years and like been trying to be good and like get better and all this other stuff and like is kind of aware of what I do and don't know, please don't say anything. Like it is extremely hard to get good at this game. I've tried very hard to get good at this game for very long and all the other things and all these other steps and stuff. But like yeah, I just think some people kind of step out of what's the word, like the reach of their own intellect. There's probably a better term there like that I can't think of, but like personally it's just I'm seeing that people are talking about this and they're acting like they know how to fix NA and make them the best region in the world or whatever. You probably don't. And like this goes for most people. Like just if you have something to say, at least make sure you know enough about it before you open your mouth. Otherwise, you're just adding to the void of nonsense of the majority that doesn't know what the fuck they're saying, and then that just kind of becomes an echo chamber. And now everyone thinks your stupid idea is correct because majority rules and whatever. Except it doesn't work here because the majority is stupid and doesn't know what they're talking about. Uh, that aside, I want to just like before I shoot myself in the foot with any potential connections with any top players and any friendships within this community, I want to talk about some things that like I don't think we get discussed much, which is like one, I think the format mostly favored Japan. I'm just saying like it's kind of like this mostly reflects what Japan does. This is all zones. There's no tower control, no Rainmaker, no Clan Blitz, nothing. It's just all zones, all the maps, all zones, and it's counter picks, which is exactly what they do in Japan, as far as I'm aware. Uh, we do not do this every time in the West. Like sometimes we have like tower control and whatever and other maps and stuff, but like the meta of like the format and like using all the maps and stuff and counterpicking, Japan is a lot more acclimated with that, and they take more advantage with it. They're also like willing to play more strategies because of the counterpick format, right? Because like when you counterpick, you can pick the map you want to play, and that your strategy that is like super like specialized kind of fits into, right? So we saw a lot of like really weird comps and stuff, right? We saw this one win the tournament, which is like, as well as not, this has no backline, and this has like a dread obviously for like paint to help with zap and stuff is cooler. Like Not's also kind of weird because like point sensor rain kind of not too crazy, but even the splashdown one, again, like not too crazy. I know that from Not. This team has an E leader and no cooler. We just saw a lot more variety in the strategy and how like in the Japanese teams and like kind of what they play towards. And like even here, it's just like they had like this comp. This was the same team, in the same set. Just this is Bluefin where like you kind of need range, whereas this map you can kind of get away with not having range and not having a backline. This one, not so much because well, this is a pit, and you have to kind of break in and like be able to poke and pressure from afar when this gap exists. Long story short, anyways, ignore this team. This is the same one, and they don't play something very cool. Uh, and then even like here on Wahoo, right? There's no pen, there's no leader, there's no chargers, anything. They just play two edits, and this one has a brush and this in the crab stamper. Uh, I didn't really think about this as I was scripting this and how I would talk about the comps necessarily, but like you get the idea. It's just when you are playing weirder and funkier maps that like generally in the West that we consider fucking garbage, and like they kind of are garbage, I kind of agree, but like it allows for different types of strategies to emerge and like be good. And like that is what Japan does. Like Japan is a lot better at adapting to than the West. That, and I think that played a factor. I'm not saying that is the reason, the sole reason as to why. I'm saying that's a reason, right? Like even if we look at their counter picks, right? They started. This is grand finals again. This was this map. They started on Mako Mart. They counterpick Urchin, Bluefin, and Eeltail, which are like if I played like a tournament in the West and you counterpicked all three of these maps, I would call you vile and like disgusting and awful. Like people don't like it when you counterpick these maps, mostly because they fucking suck as maps. But like yeah, they're counter picks, right? Like this one is like no charger long range at all because the fucking trees and the walls and whatever block any sort of long sight lines for you to actually abuse range. This one, kind of the opposite. It's just you drop in pit and now laser blows you up and stuff, and there's very little cover and stuff for you to come back with. Uh, you also kind of get stuck down here. Like yeah, this is like this little ramp here is kind of your only escape other than the ways up into your own side of the map. This kind of sucks. Eeltail Alley. This team had a leader. Is the only thing I gotta say, because like leader go boom and then they shoot across the map and like the bridges are kind of really good sniper spots and then you die and get sad. They lost anyway, but like the point is it's just like the counter picks allow for this kind of thing where you can directly like play into your own strategy and force the other team to adapt. And a lot of the times like you don't really see this sort of counter picking in the West because most people just stick to maps that are, I want to call honorable and like great, like respectable counter picks, I guess. uh yeah, that's not really the thing. Uh, the other thing I want to talk about is like it's easy when you like look at these score lines because like yeah, like North America got bottom eight in a 16-man bracket where like the other eight are not from the West, and then like yeah, they got 2-0'd in every freaking set like against a JP team except for this one where PXG took one game, and that goes wow, like that NA must suck because like you know of the 12 sets they played, like best of three sets they played, only one of them and they took a game. They lost all of them though, and NA still lost all of them, right? So it's just like it's easy to say that, and I think it doesn't tell the full story, right? Right? Because like Milky Way lost 1 point in both of their games. They lost in one set. You can't see that really from this. Like, where's Milky Way? Here, like, does it show scores? Okay, it doesn't. You see, like, if I just check Sendo, it's just like it just shows 2-0. Yeah, like, Milky Way. No, they just got 2-0 down here. Okay, so, yeah, like you can't really see that. Again, like if you actually watch the maps, like, which I imagine a lot of people on Twitter and stuff don't actually check. Uh, the Western teams would get close to winning, but they would just like choke or like not clutch or whatever, and they would just not win. And then this bracket just goes, okay, 2-0, you lose, you got blown out, you got swept, and it's not really easy to tell, like, you know, you know, I wrote in my script that like the numbers lie sometimes, and that's definitely true. And you gotta keep that in mind that like sometimes like the numbers only suggest something and can like tell a false narrative um if they are told in a certain way. Let me drink some water because I'm not very good at talking for long times. Sorry, I'm just choking on water. Okay, where's my next part in the script? Okay, yeah. Uh, so yeah. I don't know why I have this twice. Okay, anyway. Oh, right. This is where I start, just spewing hate and negativity about why I think the West sucks and the Western scene. Uh, I'm more doing this because, like, I think some things are bad, like some things we like people do in the Western scene are problematic, and since I think it's a problem, my solution is just shaming the fuck out of the behavior so people stop doing them. Um, so yeah, let's just start with the low-hanging fruits, which are like, I think this gets meant like these are some things that like I even saw like top players mention and like get mentioned in the discourse, and like one of them is just like the cookie cutter comps. Like is this one, yeah, like this is I don't I don't think I need to really explain that this is like the generic comp that I think like I don't want to put a ratio in my head and like tell a lie, but like it feels like 1 and 2 top teams have this comp and they run it on like most maps, right? Like I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Like I was trying to do stats for the Sendo Q finale from last season and talk about that and be like everyone's a lame fucker for running pen except for like 2 teams, and like this is still true. Like most people just have a pen and then like some shooter, and then they just have 2 mid lanes. Like this is like almost every team. Like you might just like swap this out for like I don't know, like sometimes you just have like a stamper, right? Sometimes you have like a wiper. Sometimes you just have like just a different blaster, like a range or something, right? Uh, Sometimes you have like a decav. Like you could really just have any sword, I guess. Uh, Sometimes you have this pro here. Sometimes you just have like this splash. Like you get the point though, right? It's just like you're just swapping out weapons, like either in these slots and like in one of these slots, and then you like keep this other 3, and then bam, you just have a comp, and then that's what most people run. Uh, right. Uh, I'm just kind of explaining this. I don't know why I spent so long to explain this, but like the idea I want to get at is like it's got discussed in like the discourse too, but like uh most people just like these comps are like good generalist comps. Like these are good on like a lot of maps, especially the maps that like a lot of the West likes to play on. This was like good on Haggle. This is good on Umami. This is good on like you get the point, right? It's just like these are good on maps that are like good that like people tend to like to counterpick and play on and whatever. This is good on Barnacle. Like you get the point, right? But these aren't good on maps as I stated before, right? It's just like these are less good on stuff like Eeltail. This is less good on Humpback because like if the like and like this is less good like especially the combination of the two. This is bad against like this is bad on Humpback versus this type of comp, right? This will lose. And the point is, it's just like it's good. Like it will have decent spreads across all map modes against all types of comps and playstyles, but it's not going to be winning in these scenarios, which happen a lot in again the counter pick kind of formats. Um, this also I think sucks because like it increases negative behavior towards stuff like less meta weapons. Like I'm not saying you should ever play with stuff like this, but like what about this weapon, like the H3, right? No one's gonna want to play with you if you play this. Uh, no one wants to play with this thing. Like I'm just kind of being general, but like I kind of feel this way too. Like I'm kind of guilty of this kind of thinking. Even though I'm kind of a victim of this. Like I don't want like I would be kind of hesitant to play with this roller. Mostly because like half the time people are like my eyes hurt when I see screen. But like even this one, right? Or this one. Or if we're gonna be so bold, we're gonna say this one, right? Like no one wants to play with these weapons, and like I think for the most part, like people will try to avoid you if you play these weapons, and I think that de-incentivizes people to one play these weapons, but also like people don't become adept. Like what adept is that the word? Yeah. What's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, adapt to you know these sort of weirder weapons, or like even playing against them and whatever. I just keep finding these freaking support rollers that are like no one wants to play with them, and like it's to my point that like like no one is trying to experiment. People just want this and nothing else, and then we only ever compete against this and play against this and nothing else, and it's it reduces our ability to just be like resilient to change, I guess. The same goes with maps. Like here, I've just kind of highlighted all the ones I feel like people are okay to play on, but like, and like the ones I didn't highlight are the ones like people don't really want to play on ever. Like I don't think anyone wants to play on Eeltail. Like people would want to avoid Scourge if possible, but like I think people would be willing to play it. Same with Undertow. Minsby, I think people avoid it like all cause. I think people avoid Hammer Bridge a lot too. Like Surgeon, I don't really actually see that much. I'm pretty sure that's like been low-key blacklisted by most Western people in their heads. Wahoo World, I think most people just don't like as a map. Grindwater, I don't really need to say. But like you get the idea. It's just like these maps are like they have negative like stigma to it. And like I get it. Like these maps fucking blow. Like I play edit. Like I hate this map. I hate this map. I hate this map. I can't play edit on any of these maps because just leader and pen just shoot me from across the map and it sucks. But like at the end of the day, these are still maps in the game, and like in the format of SWS, it's just like yeah, if you want to play with counter picks, you have to be like you have to have a game plan on all these maps still, right? And it has to be good enough to actually beat people that are going to take you here. And I guess in this case, it wasn't really the case. But I think if the West wants to be like keep up with Japan at what they do, we should be practicing these maps if we want that as a community. But I digress. I'll talk about more later Uh, I also think like again we should be more open with what we play with. Uh, I think again like in general like this is not limited to just weapons. I think even like I don't want to say skill level, but like I think in a sense of convenience, it's like if no one else is there and it's like someone who is like a little worse than you want, right? Who's gonna like struggle a little bit in your skill level, and they're like the only one available for that role, you should just play with them because like that's how you get people experience at higher levels, and then they can grow, right? And like use the experience to like correct stuff because they get exposed to more things that exploit the way they play. Anyway, okay. So now we get into my least favorite or top player take from all of this. Uh and it comes from Jared. It seems like in general people just again, I think the spectator point of view and them trying to tell top players it sucks. It isn't as cut and dry as people make it out to be. It's there is something like there you do have to have a certain degree of understanding of what's going on and how things work in order to like actually make these type of criticisms. And yeah, so I first want to talk about Jared's video because like I don't want to play it because like I don't want to just sit here in silence as he just talks about stuff and then I pause and talk about it. So I just got the transcript and I just put it in text form. And I wanted to talk about it this way. For the most part, it's just like I agree with some of these ideas, and I've already talked about some of them. There's like stuff I hadn't talked about, like the reason why JP's better is because they have a larger audience of player base, and like because of that, there is just a greater pool of players to practice with and like grow with, and they're all on like one tiny little island, and that's a lot better for practice and growth and like trying out new strategies and all this other stuff than when we're like the West is spread across like 12 different time zones in all these different regions, and then like the netcode and lag and whatever of the internet like becomes more of a factor there too, and then everyone has like language barriers and whatnot. Like there's a lot of things that are different in that regard. And of course, like I think this has been brought up before in the past, like of course that's going to be better. um he also mentions how X rank is like it's easier at higher levels because like people have higher powers in Japan because like again there's more players, so like they get like there's more players to have your low pushed up, I guess is a way to put it. And then in an NA just like it's just a there's just nobody. uh it takes forever to find games, yada yada. You have to play at Japan times if you want to find games or use a VPN and stuff like that. um and so something that then becomes like kind of the main argument or the point of discussion here is just, oh, Japan has stronger players, why don't you just play with them? And like they go on to be like, well, uh, you know, this game, like in the West, you can't really play this game as a career. I don't know actually about Japan, but let me drink some water. Anyway, yeah, just like stuff like you can't like you have a life, right? If you wanted to play at Japan times, it's like 7 a.m. Eastern or 4 a.m. Pacific. Uh, I don't know what that would be in like Greenwich time, but like it would be like I think it's just noon Greenwich time is like the start of it, and that's like not reasonable, or at least for people in the West, because like in the West, like that's around the time you start working, or 4 a.m. You're fucking sleeping, right? And that's just ridiculous. You can't really practice consistently, and like even then, it's just like I don't know where he mentions it, but I think it gets mentioned somewhere here. Or no, it was mentioned later in another post here. But I'll get to it when I get to the post that talks about it. But pretty much it's harder to get Japan top level Japan player level of practice consistently in North America or Europe, just in the Western scene in general. He does mention again the cookie cutter like team comps where they like switch out one or two weapons and like it all looks like this here, and then they just switch out for like one of these. Uh, Again, I'm gonna agree with it because I obviously made the point myself. This about NA doesn't try to build their players and how that's not true at all. I will get to that later. I disagree with it, but I'll get to that later. I have like a whole rant about it later. Don't worry. I hard disagree with it though. Um, but yeah, more stuff about how Japan like we have to like our players have to watch Japan, learn from them, practice with them, and then do it at Japan time if we want to practice with them, and then like this happens in like other esports too, or League of Legends, where like the NA teams would boot camp in Korea, so they could practice with like like the East Asian players, pretty much. Um, and yeah, this is part of why I disagree with the fact that like they don't put up players in NA. But again, I'll get to it. We'll get there when we get there. Yeah, like the top player plays so much. Like I don't deny it. Like I get like to me this is like the part like I totally get. Like it feels like you have to in order to keep up with Japan, you almost have to do what they do in Japan to keep up with their skill. And I get that. But like yeah, this gets echoed a lot. Like again, this is just more stuff. Uh Back when he was with Jackpot, I think it was, he was like he had four people so he could play with Japan. Uh yeah, one size fits all, force the enemy to adapt. Yeah. That's mostly what I said. It's just like we need to play weirder stuff because I feel like everyone plays the cookie cutter comps and we don't play stuff that like actually makes the opponent have to change what they do in order to like from map to map in the middle of a set. And granted, that's kind of a difficult thing to do, but like again, it's just we have no one who's doing that kind of thing. Kyo says kind of the same thing that like we can't top like we cannot be Japan by playing amongst ourselves. I hard to disagree, and where is it? It was you who was saying like uh uh like there here. The only way like yeah this the only way is spamming JP screens in the morning, which they say no to most of the times because of lag, latency and lag. I would get that because like again Japan like they're all on a tiny island. They're probably their internet like you don't probably need a stellar internet to connect with each other for a lobby. Like when you're in the West, it's like you're connecting over ocean, sometimes two oceans if you have both people from Japan and Europe. Like the internet's not perfect, but it's like kind of the best we have, and like the imperfections get worse when like people are further away, and like I get people that generally don't need to put up with it in Japan would not want to put up with it just to play with some fucks in a foreign country, right? That probably don't speak the language, right? All this other stuff. So it's like spending every cause 2 months. Well, yeah, that's just like it's hard to get practice right from North America to Japan. But and I think like if we think it's the only way we can do it, I think something is wrong. I think in the short term, fine. Like if you had to get good for a tournament in a month, the best way to do it would just yes play Japan, get as much experience against the best players in the world, and then go to the tournament. Yeah, that makes total sense. But I think in the long term, this is bullshit. I think this is not sustainable if we just have all the top players play in Japan and just hope they get better. Uh, is more experienced. We definitely put time to heart. Again, Char also said this. Like a lot of top players are saying this kind of idea of like top players have to play in Japan in order to keep up. And like I'm gonna bully Bursty. Nothing against Bursty. I respect Bursty. Bursty has done a lot more at a top level than I have ever done in this game. So no disrespect to them. It's more of I just don't like this take. I I I've been following Melee for like 10 years. I was like I have so many like I have game controllers and all other stuff. I've played Melee. I know a lot about Melee. The example of Amsa and Josh Man, it just doesn't fucking work. Yes, they are from Japan and Australia respectively, but you have to remember some things. Amsa did not move to Canada until like he was a top player for like the last 7 or 8 years. He was living in Japan with a full-time job, and he only moved to compete full-time. He was still working a full-time job in Japan while practicing pretty much all the time at night if he wasn't entering a tournament or working for like years. That's mostly why he got good and was like still a world-renowned player. Josh Man is a little bit different, I get it, because like he was mostly known after he came to the US, and especially after he moved to the US, he was much more well known. But like to say that like where do you say this? Where do you say this, buddy? Uh like minor region and smaller bases can only push each other so far. That's not true. And I don't believe that. Because I have counterexamples. You've also like Percy also goes on to say what's the solution? There is no feasible solution. I think that's a sign of a quitter. I'm not gonna say Percy is a quitter. I think that's a quitter take though. Uh if you get the difference. Uh Again, I respect Percy as a player. Competitively done way more than I have. I don't agree with that take. Again, these are good things to do. Like watching VODs of people better than you, good for you. Systematic with people who are in like mixing. Like we don't need to integrate with the Japanese term. And like the point of all this is, Bercy brings up also Josh Man as minor region like top players that came from minor regions and then migrated to like the bigger regions to become like world renowned players. Except like I have have you fucking heard of fucking Arslan Ash? Dude, like this guy has won like this guy is from Pakistan and he's won like the last 8 Evos in Tekken. Like I'm not too familiar with Tekken if it wasn't very obvious, but like this guy grew up in Tekken, played with other Pakistani people in Tekken for like his entire life. All of a sudden, he gets sponsored and flown out to Evo Japan. He beats all the best people in Tekken at Evo Japan. And then he goes on a tear and wins like the next, I don't know how many Evos. I lost count. I think it's 7 or 8. But the point being is, like, that guy came from a smaller region that was kind of isolated from the rest of the world in terms of the greater Tekken community and like the knowledge and whatever. Like the Pakistani had their own style. Like it wasn't just him. Like it was the entire scene too. Like there were stories of top players going to Pakistan just to play Tekken, like high level, just to practice Tekken. And like they tried it, like a few players tried it, and like at the beginnings when like Arslan Ash was coming up and stuff, like people were kind of skeptical that like even Pakistan was like a good region for Tekken. And then when they went, they were like really surprised because like the other players were just as good and like also really strong and like it was impressive. It still is impressive. I'm pretty sure. Like I don't really keep up with Tekken. I'm not a Tekken. I'm not really an FGC head. I've mostly new to fighting games. Forgive me if like I am pissing someone off who is really into Tekken and is watching this. Anyway, the point is like this guy is like, or rather, Pakistani Tekken is just the like they have way more hurdles. Like this isn't like a first world country. This is Pakistan, right? Like I watched some videos just on Pakistani Tekken and like they build their own arcade machines out of wood and stuff. Like they have to import and like there's all these other like financial and like technological like barriers that they had to cross to even play the game and have competitions. And then even then they had enough players to dedicate themselves and like practice with each other and like clearly they had a culture where it fostered strong players in spite of like the size of the scene and like the number of players and like the number of resources they had. Like they also had to battle like power outages and whatever. Like all I'm saying is go like watch some videos on it. Like let me go into my YouTube a bit. Uh, like like if you don't believe me, like just watch this video. Like they freaking like if you go watch it, like this is what they have. Like this is like I can't explain to you how like wild it is. Like this is what they're fucking playing on. Like again, that's for later. That's aside the point. My point being is just that like the NA people being shit and not being able to find good players to practice with in NA is simply I simply do not take that as a reasonable excuse. Uh, I'll explain later stuff. I am just being on my hate. Like again, I made this video because I'm pissed, and like I needed to get my hatred out in the world because like I think this is actually productive hatred, and I want things to be done about it. Uh, I don't know I don't know why I even have it still here, but because I didn't put this in my notes, not because I don't want this here. It's just I was caught off guard. Anyway, in terms of like I don't know, because like Charo's been posting stuff about like the strategy and stuff, and like different ideas that Japan does that North America doesn't. Again, I just think like again, we don't North like the West doesn't really innovate or practice or try new ideas or experiment or anything. Blah 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 blah. Blah, right? I can go on and on about it, but like, uh, this is kind of the point like everyone kind of agrees on, and like I think it's been beaten down like more than it needs to be. Like eventually we're gonna start trying and stuff. Uh, I don't know. I've heard this for so long, like the idea that like the West has to innovate, blah blah blah, with trying new strategies and stuff. But like a lot of it is just like I don't know. Like I'm not. I don't want to talk about necessarily strategy and what Japan's doing better and what NA should be doing because well, one, I don't think I'm in like a position to talk about that. Again, I think it's just like how people were talking about like I think NA players should practice more or actually do practice. Like what? Like I don't know. I don't know. That stuff is like up to the players to figure out, I believe. I feel like I'll get into more of why I don't think I'm for this, but like pretty much it's just I don't think enough information comes around, not enough discussion happens to where I think I know what I'm talking about when I see this sort of stuff. I don't think most people are, and I'll get to that later as to solution to that. Uh, here, yeah. The other thing is like we haven't fought Japan for a while. Now where's where is it? I had something here. Oh, there it is. I don't know why I have all of these jar dogs in succession. Uh, but yeah. It's been a year since we fought Japan too. Like, that's another reason. I forgot to put this reason earlier. Why is this all the way fucking back here? Anyway, my point is just like we kind of knew Japan was better, and like we it hasn't been it's been a while since like we've seen a Japan versus the West matchup, and it being anywhere close or having any sort of gauge of that. And so for it to turn out like this is not really surprising, or like kind of a sign that like NA needs to start trying harder, or whatever the fuck people are saying online. Because like again, it doesn't matter. It's a video game. Just let people play the video game. I don't fucking care if Japan, like the next time this like something like this happens, and like there's like you have like two Japan teams now, and you have 14 Western teams, and then like the Japan teams like insta knockout all the Western teams, and then in finals it's just like they play. I don't fucking care. Like, to be honest, it's more that like we we do something different, right? We're not dick sucking Japan. We're just trying to do exactly what they do. Um, I'm not saying we can't copy them at all, but like we shouldn't just try to be copying them all the time. I don't know. Again, I planned this out over. I don't know if I explained this. I just came back from my haircut. I read up on the discussion on Blue Sky. I hated it, and then I wrote this entire script and tried to record this video. I'm doing one take. I don't fucking care. Anyway, I found this. I think it says it's like the people, which is, I think it's funny. Like, not to be a hater, but like, whenever I see someone's Twitch chat input any sort of thing, like, you know, like author anything, I laugh. Anyway, but like when they talk about this, like I respect these people. They probably have done way more than I've ever done in this scene. I get that. I'm a fucking nobody, and like I don't fucking know dog shit. I get that, but like I'm just saying it because I'm pissed and I want to share my thoughts because I think I have something to say, and I might not, but whatever the fuck. Anyway, I think what I wrote here is just one line, which is like this document just its heart is in the right place, but I don't think it fixes everything. Like I think this team part, the respect the opponent and stop making excuses to not limit your progress. Have the same goals and game plan as your teammates and open-minded to suggestions. You're telling me people didn't fucking have that already? Like, what? Anyway, like, individual limit test. See how aggressive you can play and get away with it. Use JPX power as a benchmark for skill, and XP is okay, but less valuable. Play with more people, and prioritize being a better individual player. Don't be a system player and play with the same people over and over. Pick your favorite weapon and master it to build confidence and skills, and watch vibes of other players with the same weapon. We should have always been doing this. Like, again, like, I think something is fundamentally wrong with the community if this is a fucking problem. Like, I don't know. I think it's more than just we have to tell people to do this. This is like, we can't just tell people to do this because like this is just fucking common sense to me. Like this is what people should be doing, and like people should allow to happen, right? I don't know about X Power. Personally, I'm an X rank hater because like I guess I just fucking suck maybe, but like I just can never get a good X Power. Maybe it's just like I my excuse is like it's just the way I use X Power or X rank, and then like the way like kind of how I play X rank is not very good for getting good X powers. But like I digress. Like it's not part of the point. My point being is like, don't be a system abuser. Really? Like, it's a community thing. Of course. Don't be a community abuser and just exploit for status. So, like, That's common sense. Pick your favorite weapon. Yes. Play the weapon you like and like are enjoying, and then master it because it's the easiest way to get good at the game. Like I had to tell like someone I coach like because they were having problems with what weapon like they were questioning what weapons they were playing. I just had to tell them like you just play the weapons you want to play. And that's the best way to improve because when you are having fun, the best way to gauge how well you are doing is kind of just how much fun you're having. Sometimes, like I don't know if spamming 19 booyah bombs with arrow sprays and having fun that way is necessarily a good gauge of like, how much fun you're having with that. It's a good gauge of skill progress, but like certain types of again, hey, uh, these should like this is just common sense in my brain. Uh, Community remove +3 should be +1 then everything else. Minimize results culture. Don't host too many tournaments on the same day. Stop doing 4 modes in one tourney. Okay, this part I don't understand because like why who would fucking play a clan blitz only tournament? I know I fucking wouldn't. That I don't know about that one. Skill level like I think it's skill cap and skill floor tournaments. I agree. I think they exist though for a reason because like again I coach lower level teams and like I've even talked to some people who are part of like production tournament organization stuff and it's like these tournaments exist because like people have ego issues at lower levels and they want to play these tournaments. There's probably too many of these like skill cap tournaments because like some like then there's like no open level tournaments and stuff, but that's a separate issue. Anyway, it's just like yeah, there's probably too many skill cap stuff, but like there you still need some. Um, don't host too many tournaments on the same day. Yeah, that's fair. There's a lot of tournaments hosted on certain days. I think the thing is, it's just like there's some staples in the community in terms of tournaments that like are always hosted at certain days of the week at certain times, and those are fine. It's just when like the new ones that are random that just pop up that are kind of weird. I don't know. Uh, Minimize results culture. Use tournaments as a benchmark for improvement. I don't know about this because the tournaments like tournaments as a benchmark for improvement and results culture are kind of intertwined because it's like, yeah, I beat this person, this, and I got this placement at this tournament. Like, those are results, right? And like, if you're using that as like a way to describe how skilled you are, it's part of results culture, I think. Kind of backwards in that way. And then I'll talk about +3. I'll talk about plus in general later. Um, Spoiler alert, I just don't like it. But yeah, my point is like, I don't know if this is in the right place. This has some good ideas. It does have some dumb ideas. I'm here to talk about why I think some of this discussion was stupid and like organize it in something more sustainable. To me, like, well, I should start this differently. Uh, I put in this my script. What's the solution, big guy? Um, and I guess that's the question I have to answer because, like, otherwise I just seem like an angry asshole and I just don't elaborate, right? Uh, this is my solution pretty much. Like, we kind of need to foster skilled players in the West. And this includes myself. I need to do efforts to foster skilled players. Like again, like if we take a look back at freaking Pakistan and Tekken, they like again the Pakistani players came out of nowhere. Like Arsenal and Ash kind of came out of nowhere. Suddenly, just won Evo Japan in Tekken, and like to everyone in Tekken, that was a shock. Like people, like the way you foster players in a smaller community is that you have a smaller community that like makes learning and growing for all players really easy and very fast, right? And that involves reducing barriers to improvement, creating more accessible sources to improve, and just like providing resources for people to hear and discuss in-depth strategy in like a more open space. Like I don't feel like I have that with this game. Like when I learned like when I learned this game, and I don't know what I did in the past either, because like again, I've been playing this game for 10 years and it's changed with time, right? Because I like Splatoon was my first shooter, so like I was just watching and playing a lot more, and it didn't really matter that it wasn't competitive because like competitive was much smaller back then. Like and people were still learning the game too, right? So it's just seeing the game and playing the game, just engaging with the game was the way I grew more. But like in recent years, like more the way I like grow now is like I don't even engage with Splatoon. Like I go to other games and like watch other like YouTube videos. I don't know why I have this open, but like Corey Gaming was like is like one of my favorite channels. Like I've been watching this guy for years, and like I will watch some of his old videos, and I will watch him like, and I'll come back like 3 or 4 years later and rewatch all of them again because like they go over ideas and like less like I don't know how to explain it. Like games test different like skills, but and like sometimes the skills they test are less pronounced than others. And so in this way, it's just like this teaches certain skills and like how to handle certain things about games, like salt and like nerfs and even stuff like differences of sides, right? Just uh, all this other stuff. Like you get the idea, right? It's just like picking characters and weapons, right? How to do that and games being hard and managing that. You get the idea though, right? It's just I had to go to other games and learn about like concepts and ideas in other games and then just try to apply them in Splatoon. There is not like I don't think there's anything like this for Splatoon. And I'm not saying there has to be, but like it's hard to get like my point is like it's hard to get ideas like these videos gave it's hard to get the ideas these videos gave me in this sort of fashion, but for Splatoon. And like a lot of them. But that's a side point. Uh Again, I don't know enough about the FGC to talk about certain things, but whatever. Anyway, like even like Wolfie Glick, like I'm looking at Pokemon, but like the thing is, like in Pokemon, it's just like the game is turn based, and so people can explain their rationale and their strategy and all this other stuff, and take as long as the fight they fucking want, right? When you play Splatoon, it's just like you go, you start shooting, everything is like the timing and how fast you do it and all this other stuff. It matters a lot more. But like in other games, it's just like you also get the idea of like they can break it down in pause and stuff, and it doesn't ruin the flow of what you're watching. Um, anyway, uh, yeah. Again, this is very important. Like, yeah, like we need if we really want to like improve the Western scene and like the skill level of the Western scene versus Japan. I think just as a Western scene, it's way more feasible if we grow the entire scene and improve its skill level, like the base skill level, and just raise it up. Because if you just try to stretch the ceiling, like the top level thinner and thinner, it's not going. We're not going to see the results we want. Um, like, and it doesn't mean we have to go to Japan to practice, because Japan plays in their own way, and I get that like they are the best players and they have the most skill, but that doesn't mean we copy them. Like And if I go back to Arsenal and Ash again in the Pakistani Tekken, they did not copy Korean Tekken, or I think Korea was the best region at Tekken. Uh, Around the time Arsenal and Ash came up. Anyway, the point being is like, you don't need to copy the best region in the world to be the best player in the world. The idea is like they had their own style. They played in their own way because they were isolated from the rest of the world in terms of competition, right? But they were still very good, and they still posed a threat because they just they played in their own style. Most people weren't really familiar with it, and even with time, even now, it's just like, again, this guy won freaking 8 Evos, so he must have at least you know had a reign of 4 years at least. And like at that point, it's just like you're not just like a gimmick, right? It's not like the Pakistani style is a gimmick. It's just, even if you get used to it, it's still a style that can beat you, right? And what I'm trying to say is like, we have to play in a way that allows for it, right? We don't need to copy what Japan does. We need to experiment on our own and innovate on our own and be able to do these things so, we can do so, right? Because now we just have all these fucking Buzz Lightyears with the fucking, where are they? We have the fucking Buzz Lightyear with the fucking this comp and nothing else, and then all these other weapons in the game, right? It's just like we have like two, like maybe some like one or two players playing like fucking bamboo. Where's the bamboo? Oh, okay. Like we have like there's not many bamboos. There's not any YouTubers. I don't want. Okay, I don't know about YouTuber to be honest. YouTuber is kind of a whatever. Like there's no Splatter players. Like I feel like Splatter is could be doable. Like I know of like one Squiffer player. Unless I'm talking about is also playing Squiffer now. Like we only have like one. We have some brush players, I guess. Uh, we don't have much variety in roller players. It's like mostly just like whenever I play Sendo, there's like always like 5 carbon roller players for some fucking reason. I don't know why. Uh, we don't have any blaster players. They all play this one, or like maybe a pro. Like we don't really see these rapids anymore. Like all this other stuff. Dualies. Like we've seen a bit of this in the West, but like not really. It's just like some people have tried it. Same with like these dualies. Like I haven't really seen this one at a top level. Uh, Not really any Gluga. Not really any like Jared's played some dualies culture, I guess. Uh, like I don't know. Like my point being is like we don't really try to uplift the people that are playing these more weird weapons. We just want people that play this. Um, and like we also want them to be X good and like have X set of results or whatever, right? I just think people should be more free with who they play with, kind of thing. Uh, anyway, this is all to get to a tangent, like a side tangent. Like, it's a kind of a side tangent, but like it's something I kind of wanted to address because like it did get brought up, and like for me, it's just I've held a long grudge against it. It's the fucking plus server. Um, I do not like it. I personally disagree with it. I don't like how it's ran. I don't like that it exists. Uh, Now part of it is that I'm too shit to get into it. Very important reason. Very telling of my character and exactly why I don't want it to exist. But like, I don't. I think most people agree it's a status symbol at this point in this community. Like most people don't get into plus server or try to get into plus server to prove like to get a certain level of practice, right? To be in the like a to be recognized of a certain level of skill so they can get a so they can practice with certain people. They do it because it you can tell your friends, yeah, I'm so good, I'm in this really exclusive uh private scrim server for really good people. Yeah. and like not really use it for that. Just it's more of like it's like wearing a badge saying you're good or you have certain privileges in the community rather than something you like using those privileges to actually progress the community. I also think that like you know this encourages behavior where you're not trying to be good enough to get in the server, or like you're not good. Or I don't want to say you're good. You're not good enough to get in the server, but like this leverages like because like how it works is like a certain number of people have to like allow you to vote in, right, and pass like a 60% threshold or whatever, and like 60% of people like I don't want to say 60% of thumbs up because I think there's like thumbs up, two thumbs up, thumbs down, two thumbs down, pretty much. And my point is like a factor in getting in plus is like you kind of need to be liked by the people in the plus server already to get in, if that makes sense. Like you don't necessarily have to be good at the game. Like if you're liked by enough people and people just want you in an inner circle, they could just let you into plus kind of thing. And I don't really have any examples to point to this except for the Rosa incident. And if you know, you know what I mean when I say you use social connections to get into plus. Anyway, this is kind of my short list of reasons I don't like it. Now, I also put here that like, like I get why plus server exists. Like plus server, when you think about the reasoning why it exists, it's understandable why it exists. Like Char explains it here, like because like you kind of want like if because it's a private scrim server, but if we don't have it, then people are going to make their own, and there's just going to be a lot of them, and then you're all going to be even smaller than plus and less aggregated, and that's going to be a nightmare, and it's going to conflate the issue that plus already creates, if that makes sense. Because like if Pluff wasn't if Pluff blah, blah. Let me drink some water. I'm so sick and tired of this. Anyway, if Pluff 1 didn't exist, then there'd just be 10 private servers or private scrim servers, and they'll all have really tiny circles with people, like 8 people in it, and they'd each have eight people in it, and it'd just be a fucking disaster. And to that I say, I think we're just fighting garbage with garbage. I think. Like, I'm not saying the plus server is like the pinnacle of all evil in the community, and this is just going to solve exactly all of these, but I think it helps with this. I think it helps with this, and it helps with these two as well. I'm not saying it solves all three. I am saying it helps. There has to be more done than just abolishing the plus server, obviously. Like, just abolishing the plus server wouldn't solve everything, and I guess it does open up more issues to open up, but like, I think the way you solve this issue of potentially 10 private servers happening is that you fucking shame the people for fucking doing so. Like, if you let these things exist, like the private scrim servers exist, and just will allow people to just play in tiny circles and just try to join them and allow, like, kind of, what's the word? Accept and embrace their existence, that's the problem. Like, the way these sort of issues are sorted out is not that we have rules or laws within our community to just say you cannot have private scrim servers, because that's like, obviously, that's not something you ever, like a committee or whatever gets to decide. That's something you decide within your own freedoms, right? But I think in the same vein, it's just like people use their own should be using their own freedoms to get mad at people when they do something they don't like, right? And unless we just, like, if you don't fucking shame people for doing something that is like I kind of think of it as cowardly. Just having people. I don't want to say they're pussies necessarily, but it's kind of the word that comes to mind. Anyway, uh, if we just allow people to just be pussies and just not engage with other people in the community and try to play with people, new people, and like practice with new people and think it's a hindrance on them that they have to play with new people, they're pussies. Like straight up, like you don't want other people to get better because you're scared of them being better than you. And I get like part of competition is like winning and being the best and whatever. But like I don't know. The community's in a state where, this was the result of the tournament, right? And if you're really protecting your strategies and who you play with and making sure you win against whoever you play against in the West, this is going to remain. And I think we should just be shaming people for being recluse little bitches that refuse to play with anyone they don't know. Because I think this structure encourages rejecting people you don't know. I think even at the top, it's like you have to know people, right? Like Melon's here. I don't know if Melon really uses this, and I could be wrong. But like I think Melon's only here because we know, like everyone in the West knows Melon God, blah blah blah. Like I don't think I need to spell that out to you. I think I don't mean to be a hater. Like I don't think dude plays competitive anymore. I don't know why he's still here. Like I think we all just keep him there because we like him, kind of thing. Uh, like some people, like I'm not saying this is everyone. Again, it's some people more than others. Like I'm pretty sure a lot of people up here still, like most people here still deserve their spot because they are good players and they've proved that a lot to high degrees, right? But like I think just this overall structure is like it's not built like on skill. It's just it's just kind of inner circles that like exclude people from being able to learn and grow. Again, coming back to this, it's just like, at least for me, this is the way I felt about it for years, and I still feel about this way about Plus. It's just, this is exactly what I don't want. This is a barrier that stops me from playing with people like ProChar and Kyo. I'm not saying I'm going to if this doesn't exist, but I'll tell you the chances are much fucking higher if the Plus server did not exist. Am I wrong? I don't fucking know. Who am I to say? But like, again, I'm not like I don't think it's unreasonable to say that like people hide stuff in Plus, right? They hide discussion there. They just like they hide, like people are not willing to share. I don't think it's unreasonable to say that people only want, like if you're +2, you would only want to play with people in the Plus server. Maybe even only people that are +2 or +1. Like stuff like that becomes a thing because of the Plus server, and it just, again, it's a barrier to improvement. Like you impede improvement and impede the ability for people to play with quality people unless you have the little +2 or +3 in your Sendoku bio. And I think that's dog shit. I think that's like really fucking lame. Like straight up. And I mostly say that because I'm a fucking nobody and I have like I'm very bad. Like I've been very bad at socializing all my life, and that being able to talk to anybody or get any social connection or recognition has been hard for me. That's why I'm saying it. For the most part, you can choose to believe it or not. I don't care. I'm saying this all because I think these are parts of the discussion that don't get talked about. And I think I just hit a point where I'm just pissed off. Anyway, it's almost 4 p.m. and I haven't eaten lunch. I should probably stop this. Holy fuck, this is an hour? Okay.